Hey, Becky.
Oh, hi, it's Daddy. Hi, Daddy. I'll move out the way.
Hey guys, here you go. Do you reckon we can watch something else? This Postman Pat infuriates me, hey? Absolutely infuriating.
Makes you angry.
Yeah.
It's a kids show.
Yeah, but it's just, where do I start with it? You know, the theme tune actually is pretty good.
Postman Pat, Postman Pat, Postman Pat, and his black and white cat.
Watch him take this corner here. He absolutely fangs around the corner. You know, if this person had stepped out of that corner there, he would have mowed them down, you know? Straight out.
You seem to have a lot to say about it, so I think I might just leave you here and I'm just going to go change the baby, okay? Bye, Daddy.
There's an episode here where Pat comes across this sand that's emptied out onto the main road, but you can clearly see you can get around it. So Pat decides to make it his own business, of course, and instead of just, you know, getting on his scanner and putting, you know, safety hazard, cannot access, and on your way.
Problem, Ted?
Bruh. It's his responsibility to get rid of this sand. You know, he's not getting paid to do this, so I don't understand his thought process on doing this.
You'll not move much sand like that, Arthur. What else can we do?
Here he's using his bags from work to fill the sand up, and that doesn't work. So he just tries these multiple things to try and get rid of the sand. This is ridiculous. It's not even his problem.
We'll have that sand shifted in no time. I wouldn't be so sure about that, Pat.
You know, it takes him a couple of hours. He ends up getting the Reverend involved.
Maybe the Reverend can help us.
He ends up getting this cleaner involved, all the kids involved, and then at the end of it, he ends up spilling out all the sand across part of this reserve that's in the main town for the kids to play on. You know, so there he's going to get, you know, destruction of property. The town, he'll probably get a huge fine with that. You know, that's why his nose is so big. You know, he just sticks it in everybody's business. He sees a few parcels on the counter. He says, "Oh, it's going to be a busy day today, Mrs. Goggins." You can tell that that's not going to take you. That's going to take you half hour tops, you know, maximum. In another scene, Pat's got a special delivery and it's this huge cargo. So they try pushing it into the back of his van, and it doesn't fit, obviously.
And, oh! That's not going in, Pat.
So anyway, they make this makeshift carrier on top of the Postman Pat's van, basically disregarding and overriding OH&S regulations. You know, it's a hazard to everyone. You know, the van could probably topple over. He could probably crush. You know, if some kids walk along the sidewalk, or even anyone just walk along, the van could topple over, crush them. He's not thinking straight. You know, no job is worth that kind of a risk. You know, he could be potentially looking at jail time here. You know, he comes up with all these bright ideas, but they're not bright at all.
Sounds broken.
Most likely, sir.
Couriers in general, I see them drop parcels at my door, but by the time I've got to the door, they're already down the street, you know, in their van. You know, if you've got 200 deliveries a day to do, you know, that might take you, 8 hours? You know, if you stop and chat with each person for 1 minute, like Pat does, well, Pat will probably chat with them for an hour, you know, but let's say just bare minimum, you stop and chat with every person for 1 minute. That's 200 extra minutes onto your day. What's that? That's like 3 hours, 3 and a bit hours extra onto your day if you do that. So you can see why couriers just drop and go, because you don't get stuck chatting to people. There's this train inspector, and on one of the train inspection days, which happens once a year, he's supposed to have, you know, all the trains just immaculate. You know, this is OH&S we're talking about, and he just forgets that that's the day. So he, you know, Postman Pat obviously rocks up, and he decides to help him. They get the whole town involved. It's just incompetence. Everybody in the town is incompetent. Pat's got a special delivery, and it's like a long delivery, but he doesn't fill up his tank with fuel, and he ends up breaking down in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, no. We've run out of petrol. Don't worry, Jess.
You know, driving around with a cat as well. Obviously, it's a government job. I don't know how the government are allowing Pat to drive around with a cat in his van, and that's going to be a nuisance as well. Do you really want to be driving around doing your deliveries with a cat in your van? You know, there's an episode where Pat gets a movie camera.
It's arrived.
What is it?
And on the day, he decides to make a movie of the town to show at the town hall later that day, and you know, he's working as well.
Wow. I wonder how it works.
These instructions might help.
But, you know, he just does these spontaneous acts like that where, okay, he's got a job to do, but now he's going to film the whole day and try and get it cut, edited, colour graded, everything to get premiered at the town hall that night. You know, he puts himself under so much pressure. And there's a scene where he's, you know, filming along, and then he says to Jess,
Do you think this light means the camera is on or off, Jess?
These instructions might help.
so you obviously turned it on, you know, flick the same switch back off, you know, and that one time he's just going down a river, he's got the vest on and everything, going down a river, he gets lost for a few hours.
There you go, Reverend. Have a sip of that.
He's supposed to be doing deliveries and he's just cruising down a river. Doing stupid stuff like that. I don't understand his reason. It's like, get the job done, Pat. You're wasting your time. You know, and his wife never questions him. You know, how's your day?
I've been fucking around all day sticking my nose in other people's business.
You'd think she'd be saying, well, what are you doing? Like, what are you... You know, Pat would rather just stop and chat and just waste half of his day, and then he gets to the end of the day and realises that he hasn't done his run, and this happens constantly. You know, in one scene, his son Julian asks him if he can go out and play for the day with him, but Pat says, sorry, Julian, I've got a busy day today. You know, I know darn well that Pat doesn't have a big day that day.
Just look at all this mail. Are you sure your sorting machine can handle it, Ted?
He could get that done within the hour, but he chooses to spend his whole day interfering in everybody else's business.
Right you are, Mrs. Goggins.
The economy must be great in the town to be able to pay him for the actual amount of work that he does.
Are you going to the picnic this afternoon?
I hope so, if I get this lot delivered in time. Pat feels he's a really happy man.
You know, he feels he's a really happy man. I'd be happy too if I only had to do, you know, an hour's work a day, not even, and get paid a full week's salary for it. But, you know, he cruises around in his van, he makes it look like he's doing a lot when he's not. It's great to watch as a kid because you don't really think about all that kind of stuff. You just enjoy the stop motion animation, you enjoy the characters, and you really get into it. I'd probably still give it like a 3.5 stars anyway, but it's really one of those shows that just absolutely infuriates me. The more you watch it, the more you're just like, he's just super incompetent and, yeah, gets under my skin. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Leave a comment, let us know what you think about Postman Pat. I'll see you next time. This is James signing off from the Home Video Channel.